your name, where you're coming from, and what is your testimony?
Thank you. My name is M.J Gumani, and my testimony is about what the Lord has done to me, or for me. Those who were here on a Sunday prior to us starting with our fasting prayer, you remember during the preaching, Prophet then stopped and called me out. And then he asked me to narrate a story of what has happened last year during the same fasting prayer.
When you hear Prophet, I want to tell you about this one. I can tell us about that case, your incident. What I only summarize it to tell them so they may know you are the one talking about it. I think if I still have the pictures, I will show you. Hallelujah.
So, thank you, Prophet.
Yes.
Just to summarize what has happened, I've been sick for the last, I think, 6 years, to a point where I had multiple diagnoses, and from liver to cancer to ulcers. And each time I go to the doctor, they give me a different diagnosis.
Yes.
But what I was suffering from was abdominal pain, which were very severe. But it has become part of my life because I used to live with the pain every day. Yet still living normal life, but with that pain. And what therefore happened last year, it became so bad. I also was suffering from chronic constipation. And I went to doctors a couple of times, and they did the colonoscopy and the gastroscopy, and they said to me my stomach is functioning okay. There was nothing wrong.
They could not see anything.
Nothing.
But you know, you are feeling pain.
I was in deep pain, and it just so happened that when the pains worsened, at that very moment, few weeks later, the fasting was starting.
So when these pains worsened, it was when we were starting fasting.
Yes.
It
got worse probably about 2 weeks before, prior to the fasting. And I was hospitalized a couple of days. I remember one evening I took myself to Captain Park at the hospital. I told the doctor, listen, you do have to admit me, I'm in pain. And then he said, no, I can't.
Because they don't see anything?
I'm not sick. So I had to go back home. But to cut the long story short, I went to, in fact, during the fasting, I didn't attend the service because I was sick.
Yes.
And the man of God here brought me holy water.
The glory water?
Glory water.
Yes.
And he came to my house, he said, listen, I brought you a gift today. Just drink it.
So this man behind the camera?
Yes.
So this man, he brought you the glory water?
Yes.
He said, here's a gift for you?
Yes.
Clap us for him. Clap us for the camera.
He was not alone, he was with Mr. Matebula.
Clap us for them, clap us for them.
I took the water. Just before midnight, I had a pain that I've never felt before. And mind you, as I'm saying, I have been living with the pain. And then 2 weeks before, it got worse.
It got worse.
But at that night,
it was worse than...
It was something that I've never felt before. And then I stood up, and then as I stood up, I couldn't even walk. I collapsed. I had to crawl to the bathroom because I felt like I needed to vomit something. And then when I got to the bathroom, there was something very sharp. I could feel something very sharp coming out. And then eventually it was a couple of bones. They were about 5. But they were huge. I'm talking about, I've got pictures of them, big bones coming out. And from that night, I'll say just a minute after that, all the pain was gone.
After you vomited those things? It was bones, and there was something which, when you testified previously, like a meat or something like...
The meat came, because after that the pain disappeared completely. And I had to live almost every day expecting the pain to come back.
To come back again.
I've had the pain for 6 years. but it never came back. But then a couple of days after, there was something that used to bother me, trouble me a lot. I used to go to the dentist, do all types of treatment, but I used to feel like I've got this bad smell. And I'll go to the doctors, they give me all this treatment and everything. It was really not, for me, I could feel I'm not really comfortable with what I'm feeling. And then a couple of weeks later, same thing happened. I felt like vomiting. When I went to the bathroom, a big chunk of meat, maybe this big, came out. But when it came out, it was smelling like it's a meat that has been rotten for months.
So we'll show you some of the pictures, so you will know what we are talking about. So those who have heard the testimony, they know what we have been talking about.
I do have pictures.
So you have the testimony? Bring them so I show them. Hallelujah. You know, fasting, when God calls fasting, that fasting, it will work. It will uproot something in your life. Hallelujah. When you are positioned right, God begin to remove what is not needed. Imagine meat. That meat, when you look at it, it may look like a skin of a human being, like a skin of a person or something. Some area is rotten, some area is so that he may please, he can show us quickly. Hallelujah.
So this is just one of
let me move around and show them. So you see what has come out of him? So this was one of the bone which has come out of him when he was vomiting, right? So come and another one. You this side, maybe you know. Okay.
And this was the meat.
So this one is the meat which has come out of him. Some of you don't want to see. You must do deliverance. You will not smell. You will not fear these things. Some of you will say, "No, man of God, I don't want to see." Let me show this side. This side, at least they are not saying. Hallelujah. So you look at what has come out of him when he was on fasting. Remember, there was. So I should go this side. Sorry.
No, it's just those two.
It's those two. It's the bone.
But it was multiple bones and a couple of meat pieces, same size with this. But what I do need to say is, since then, the pain that I felt for the last 6 years, 6 years,
the bone,
I've never felt it even today.
After the fasting. Let me tell you. So tomorrow,
and I did so. I came out, told the congregation what has happened, which was rather very scary. But little did I know that as prophet was calling me out, it was a prophecy on its own. At the time when he called me out, I was okay. I was not sick. I was not feeling any pain. And those who were here, you will recall, I even said that ever since last year, I've never been sick. I've never had a pain. And the fasting prayer began. It was just 2 days into the fasting prayer again, when I started falling sick. It started as a flu, and then it turned out to be something that the doctor said it was tonsils, but then it just escalated to something else. And I was in and out from doctors. And on Sunday, I couldn't even come to church because I was seriously ill. And I remember man of God, Mr. Nemweku and Mr. Matebula, again, as I've said in my last time when I was testifying, that as I was sick the last time, they came and saw me. This time around again, they came to my house. We spent some time there, and they left. The following day, in the midnight, I started to feel, in fact, it started as I felt like I was thirsty. I needed to drink something. And quickly went to the kitchen, get something to drink. But in the process of drinking that, something happened. I started to develop some sort of a sensation in my nose, which I couldn't understand what it was. And before I know it, I started sneezing, but uncontrollable so. And as I was sneezing, things began to come out through my nose. It was some substances that were very foreign to me, which I couldn't even put a name to it. And I just continued sneezing, and these things were burning. It was like somebody has put chilies inside my nose. That's how burning it was. I think the process took about 15 to 20 minutes or so, and then it stopped. And after that, I felt like there was something that needed to come out through my nose, and I started blowing my nose. And as I was blowing my nose, something came out from my nose, which just by looking at it, it was terrifying. I think there were photos that Prophet did showed last time of some of the substances that came out from me during the same time last year. And this time around again, things came out that way, even more scarier. And I sent them to Prophet. I said to him, these are the things that just came out. I don't know what it is. And Prophet said to me, don't you worry about it. God is setting you free.
Amen.
And indeed, I believe that God has set me free once again from whatever substance that has been deposited in my body, that have been living or maybe having influence in my life. And I feel it was by God's grace that these things were pushed out of my body during the time of fasting and prayer. And that's the testimony that I wanted to share with you guys.
As was blowing his nose, something strange, it was just coming out from his nose. For a couple of minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, it was painful and non-stoppable. Hallelujah. So here, indeed, I've got pictures. If you are not scared to watch, to look at the pictures, I will show you. But if you are scared, unfortunately, I'm not going to show you. Hallelujah. Here are the pictures. You'll want to see them. But for the benefit of the camera, here are the pictures. The things that, the substances that come from the brother. The time he was sneezing, the time he was feeling pain, he was blowing his nose. This is the pictures. So, brother, you said from that moment you could not feel anything in your body.
Nothing at all.
You were healed completely.
Amen.
So you were telling us that you could not even name the substances that came to your nostrils. What is it? What does it look like? You could not even name them.
No, I even tried to touch it. It feels like rubber. Part of it feels like rubber. And even the fluid that came out of it, which was supposedly to be blood, it had a very weird color, which I wouldn't call it blood. So the whole thing was just confusing. I couldn't even put a name to it to say this is what.
In the pictures, we have seen two pictures.
Yes.
Please, can you differentiate all those pictures, those two pictures, the first one and the second one? What was the difference with the two?
It's actually the same thing. The first one, immediately when it came out, and then 30 minutes later, when I went back to have a look at it, it had transformed completely.
But after certain minutes, when you go and check, that's how it has been transformed to be. Hallelujah. You also remember those who were there on the previous fasting and prayer that were going through when he was giving the testimony. Same thing, exactly the same thing happened. The first photos and the second photos, that has been transformed to be something else. Hallelujah. Amen. Hallelujah. This is just showing that God is in the process of healing you and delivering you in Jesus' mighty name. Please tell us the word of encouragement through what you are going through and through what the Lord has done unto you. With people watching us through the social medias and through people who are sitting here in this ministry listening to your testimony, my brother. what would be the word of encouragement?
For me, I believe this is a blessing, more particular because when you suffer from something and it gets to be manifested in the physical, then it becomes evidence to me especially that there is something out there or somebody out there or some sort of forces out there that are out to get me or against me. But it also evidence for me that there is God that is refusing with my life.
Amen.
And every time when I look at those pictures, for me it's a confirmation that if it wasn't for God, these things or these powers would have their way. But then God is just refusing.
Amen.
And for me, I found refuge in that. And I believe if only everybody can trust in Him and know that there's so many things that are happening. Some we get to know about them, some we don't. But there's one God that is forever there and is protecting our lives day and night.
Amen. Let's put the hands together for brother.